All right, there we go. Welcome. We back again, once again, time and time again, my friends. And what we do over here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is what I do is I host this live stream, just go over a few pairs, mostly the majors of the Forex market, and then any other pairs anyone else wants me to go over as well. I also answer any questions asked in the chat probably towards the end of the stream, so stay tuned for that. Do not feel discouraged if I do not get to your question right away. But basically, it's just a place where we talk all things trading for just a little bit, 20-30 minutes out of the day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, in between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, you turn the post notifications on, that way you do get notified anytime I go live, do one of these live streams, or post any educational content here on this channel. Now, with all that said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we start out on XAU USD. Last spoke about it on the monthly time frame, pushing to the upside. More than likely going to be attracted to this area right in here. So we're moving up on the monthly. On the weekly, though, we are starting to get a little bit of rejection from these highs up in here on the weekly time frame, but we are still above some weekly structure. So we have previous structure resistance right here on the weekly, and we're still above it, getting rejected, using it as support. Then if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that we are being held right in between this area, kind of consolidating back and forth from a daily time frame perspective. If we were able to get some daily structure and a breakout of this resistance right in here, we could see this market continue to the upside to reach the monthly target up in here. So we need to wait. Going into this weekend, need to wait for the market to open back up and show us which direction it wants to go to, either to the upside or to the downside. And if we do start to break down to the downside, we have this area right in here that we could use as possible retest for more continuation to the downside. Now we can hit XAG USD from the monthly time frame, monthly pushing to the upside as well. We have this area right in here that is attracting price. On the weekly, we are starting the retracement. From a weekly time frame perspective, we've had this impulse to the upside. We can't go in one direction forever. A retracement back down to logical areas somewhere around previous structure resistance that should now act as support could be ideal for more continuation to the upside on this pair from a weekly time frame perspective. And on the daily, now we're starting to close below some daily support, so we could see this market make some moves to the downside and then start the move to the upside going into next week. But we would still need to see the market break above some of these levels before we start to get the next impulse to the upside as we would like to see. Now we can go over XBT USD from a monthly time frame perspective. Still bullish as we are breaking above and closing above several levels of structure. And we can't go in one direction forever, so a retracement is due in order to continue the trend. Right now on the monthly, we are starting our move to the downside, and if we look at the weekly time frame, you can see we did have a nice and easy TMCP, which is the most common pattern in the market. Just a simple break above structure, come back, retest the structure that was broken, and then use that to continue to the upside for another impulse, breaking the highs. We did get a retest of these highs right in here, but we've then been rejected going into this week, making a move to the downside. Now if we look at the daily time frame, you can see on the daily we are just consolidating, so we're trapped. Price is trapped in between these two levels. Ideally, for the highest probabilities of a trade, you would want to wait for the market to break out to either side, and then once the breakout happens, you'll more than likely have a nice and easy area for the retest to come for the continuation in either direction. In this case, since we are moving to the downside, we could anticipate that this market rejects or comes in, pauses, has some reaction to some of these levels down in here, as it has been previous structure support once, twice, and thrice. We could expect it to act as support one more time, but once again, we need to wait for clear breaks and closes out of this structure before we start to look for possible opportunities to trade. Now we can go over what's happening, J Staff, my main. Now we can go over US oil from a monthly time frame perspective. We are moving to the downside. We've broken and closed below some of these lows, came back for a retest, and then we're starting to make a move to the downside on the monthly time frame. On the weekly, last time we spoke about it, we were still below some weekly support. So until we have a breakout above that, we can just expect the market to continue to the downside. And then if we do look at the daily time frame, you can see that we have a nice and easy TMCP right here. Nice and easy break below structure, coming back to retest previous structure broken. And now we can look for the next impulse to the downside. Now, if the market does set up on Sunday, Monday, with an opportunity for continuation to the downside, myself, I will be looking to make this move to the downside to go ahead and trade it for more continuation. Euro USD. Euro USD now moving to the Forex pairs. Euro USD on the monthly time frame. We are right around previous structure support that should act as resistance until broken through. So we still have 14 days until this monthly candle closes, but as it is right now, we are moving to the upside. If we look at the weekly time frame, you can see that we are still above some weekly resistance, as we've had that area right in here. We were stopped here, found some resistance, and now we're starting to make our move to the upside. We got rejected from these highs, but we did come retest some of these highs over to the left. If we do look to the left, we have this area right around in here that the market came into and is been getting rejected, but it is currently printing the next candle we want to see fill in the wick. So if we drop down to the daily time frame in a little more detail, you can see that this is the wick area, and all it is, it's just a simple retracement after an impulse to the upside, all in one candle. And from there, if it does close in the next hour, kind of like it is a previous structure resistance that should act as support, you can expect that to act as support and push the market up to the upside for another impulse, retracement impulse, which is the most common pattern in the market. But as we are right now in the daily time frame, is we're just right at previous structure resistance, now in turn support. You'd like to see this market move away from this area just a tad bit before you start to get in on the buy opportunities. Now, if we slide over to GBP USD from the monthly time frame, you can see that we have broken above some of this levels of structure that we had. We have some previous structure support right in here. We're starting to break and close above that, and on the monthly, we are pushing to the upside. If we do look at the weekly time frame, you can see we came and retested previous structure, some of these highs in here, and now we're starting the retracement. We have had a long run up on this market. We've had this impulse last for a few days now. We can only expect that there be some sort of retracement, could possibly retest previous structure right over in here, left shoulder, have it act as the right shoulder over in this area for more continuation to the upside. But it is good to be patient on some of these pairs and wait for the actual movement to come. Now, if we do look at the daily time frame, what we can see on the daily time frame is that we did make the higher high. So we did have the most common pattern in the market: break above structure, come back, retest previous structure broken, come in here, break above structure, come back, retest previous structure broken, break above structure. You would expect the market to come back and retest previous structure that is broken in order to see more continuation to the upside. But on the daily time frame, we got a pretty solid impulse candle. So this one bearish candle took up the range of these 5 candles that made the move to the upside. So we are very aggressively moving to the downside, but we're sitting right at previous structure support that is acting as support one more time. So it's only time can tell. There's no clear direction on what this market wants to do from a daily time frame perspective, so it is a bit aggressive to go ahead and look for opportunities. We could get a possible retracement in here that could provide something like this for more continuation to the downside before we start the actual move to the upside. So it's best just to be patient on this and wait for a clear direction. Now that we have AUD USD on the monthly time frame, been speaking about it for a while, especially from the monthly time frame perspective. We have previous structure support right in here that should act as resistance, and is currently acting as resistance from a monthly time frame perspective. So we came into here, we can expect the market to push down and push away from this area at least just a little bit in order for us to find an opportunity. But we do have a nice and easy impulse to the downside, came back for the retracement, slowing the momentum. The momentum is getting weaker to the upside, and on this day today, Friday the 16th of December, we are starting to make a move to the downside, where this one candle could possibly take over the last 3 bullish candles that we had on this market. So we could see more continuation to the downside, but if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that we are starting to aggressively move down. We were riding this trend line on its way up looking for more bounces from this trend line in order to see a breakout above some of these higher time frame levels. But we just got the move to the downside yesterday that broke and closed below some of the support, and then we have today just a little bit more continuation to the downside. If this market does give the opportunity, maybe come back, retest this trend line, and give some more opportunities to go ahead and look for shorts, this could be a possible and great opportunity going into next week, that you could see the continuation to the downside on this market. Now we can slide over to USD CAD, and on USD CAD, once again, easy and clear from the monthly time frame perspective. So been talking about it for a minute. Very bullish on this market. We exploded to the upside a few months ago, came back for the retracement, retested previous structure resistance, the most common pattern in the market, and then we're starting the next impulse to the upside, which should go ahead and complete. Maybe not this year, going into next year, could see this move to the upside continue. Now if we look at the weekly time frame, on this week we've had a very active candle. It pushed to the downside very aggressively, almost all the way down to these previous weekly candles, and then we've started to make a move back to the upside, coming into some of these highs that we once got rejected from. But we are pushing to the upside on the weekly, which is exactly what you would like to see. And then on the daily time frame, last time we spoke about this market, we were starting to make a move to the downside, and we pointed out that there was a nice and easy M formation that once closed below, you want to see the market come back and retest the neckline, which is a pattern that completes 80 to 90% of the time. If you would like strategies around some of these patterns that are very trustworthy, go ahead and click the link in the description. Over there you can get full access to all the strategies that I use. I think is a really good value, a really good program for anyone. It don't matter if you're a beginner or you've been trading and you're very advanced, been doing it for some years. I think that there is some valuable information inside there that you could benefit from. But going back to USD CAD, we wanted to see the market come back and retest the neckline, and I said that might provide the momentum we need to go ahead and see this market continue to the upside. And that is exactly what we've gotten so far over the last couple of days. But still, we are at previous structure resistance that should act as resistance once again until broken through. So we want to wait for a nice and easy break and close above some of these levels. Then we should have an impulse where the retracement should come to some probable levels, and then we could see the more continuation to the upside on USD CAD. On the New Zealand dollar, on the monthly time frame, we did come in and retest previous structure support. That is acting as support once again, pushed the market to the upside. Not only just pushed it up to retest some structure, we broke and closed above some monthly structure, some monthly support, and we are continuing to the upside, where we're right now getting the candle that we want to see the next one fill in the wick, but we do have 14 days before this candle closes. Now if we look at the weekly time frame, you can see that we've had a nice and easy move to the downside, sell off. Then we had some W formation where the market broke to the upside, and from there we should see a retracement, because we know the market can't move in one direction forever. Once the retracement is finished, more than likely from a weekly time frame perspective, we will start to see the next impulse to the upside, as that is just what the market structure is showing us until it shows us otherwise. But on the daily time frame, you can see we've had nothing but break above structure, come back, retest structure, break above structure, come back, retest previous structure resistance, break above structure, come back, retest previous structure resistance. We had a little complex right there, broke above the structure, came back, retest previous structure that was resistance, used it as support, broke above that. We did not make a full retracement, but we did have some complex correction consolidation before we broke out once again to the upside, where we had a nice and easy retest to previous structure resistance, turned support, once again broke above structure, came back, retest previous structure resistance, used it as support, had a little bit complex correction, but we did break above some of these highs, completing the most common pattern in the market, a TMCP, which is just a simple break above structure, come back, retest that structure as the opposite, and then continue to the upside. But on the daily time frame, we are starting to make moves to the downside, where we could have a possible situation where we have a level in the market here, a false breakout, immediate close back into the range, and we could use this left shoulder area as right shoulder resistance for more continuation to the downside. So it's best to go ahead and wait for this market to decide whether it wants to break and close above this level and continue to the upside, or if it's going to use this level as previous structure resistance, now acting as resistance one more time again. USD Swiss franc. And on USD Swiss franc from the monthly time frame, we are making a move to the downside. We were sitting at previous structure support right in here, but it looks as if we want to go ahead and push to the downside from a monthly time frame perspective. And if we do look at the weekly, we are moving to the downside, not very aggressively, not with momentum. So that could be a factor going into next week. As this candle is closing like this, we could see a possible retracement back in here. But if it does start to move down just a little bit over the next 50 minutes, we would have the next candle we want to see fill in the wick. So if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that on the daily time frame, we did break out below some of these lows, and we are coming back for a retracement. If we got to get a nice and easy retracement end, and we get what looks to be the next impulse starting, this could provide a good opportunity going into next week for more continuation to the downside. Now USD JPY from the monthly time frame, and on the monthly, we are sitting right at previous structure resistance, now turn support. Until broken and closed below, we can expect that level to act as support. Now if we look at the weekly time frame, though, we did break below some of these levels, and we are still below some weekly support, some weekly structure right in here that would need to be broken first before we start to look for possible buy opportunities. And then if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that we did make a move to the downside, and then we failed to break lower, and now we're starting to make another move to the upside, but we got rejected amongst some of these highs on the daily time frame. Started to push down a little bit going into today. So basically put, we are consolidating, more than likely just consolidating sideways, where a breakout to either side could determine the direction that this market wants to go. So it's best just to be patient on USD JPY. Now we slide down to BTC USD. From the monthly time frame, we are pushing to the downside. From the monthly time frame, we've had nice and easy, real simple, short and sweet previous structure resistance. That over in here we have all this area that could act as support and should act as support. The timing as to when it will act as support is unknown, but just to be ready, we do have previous structure resistance now turned support. But if we look at the weekly time frame, we are still below some weekly structure, weekly support that we would need to see broken to the upside first before we start to look for possible buy opportunities that could provide something nice. Inverted head and shoulders possible pattern, but on the weekly we did come in retest previous structure support that is now acting as resistance and got rejected very aggressively. So we can drop down to the daily time frame and see that this market was just consolidating in between these two levels. As previously pointed out in past live streams, we've just had the market consolidating sideways in between these two levels, that this market could possibly provide some sort of entry for more continuation to the downside from a daily time frame perspective over the next coming days. So maybe after the weekend ends, going into Monday of next week, we could see some possible retracements in here and then start to get rejected for more continuation to the downside, because we are bearish on a monthly time frame perspective. We are still below some monthly structure, so we can just look for more continuations to the downside until shown otherwise. Now that pretty much sums up the live stream as far as what I got going on for you all today. If anyone has any questions or any pairs in the market they would like for me to answer, or any pairs they would like for me to take a look at, please let me know. I'll give you a little minute. I don't see too much popping off, so I'm gonna let everyone go ahead and get your weekend started. Now, once again, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have this live stream If you did make it this far, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions once again. So don't be shy. And I just appreciate you being here and making it this long. Shout out to my boy Jay Staff. I know you good. You way good. Yeah, man, that's all it is. Just a place to kick it. Come kick it with your boy. See what I got going on in my mind, what I see on the charts. A little different perspective for most people, not us. But most people might think it's too simple, too easy. But we adding everything together. The multi-time frame analysis along with the patterns and the structure. That's all you need. But other than that, I hope everyone has had a profitable week on and off the charts. And until next time,